Hey Scott, this is Keaton Everett from ABC going over your pitching video from the spring break camp. We'll go through and kind of talk about mechanics and kind of break it down step by step and talk a little bit about how we can get ourselves consistent, how we can generate some power, how we can create some velocity and get ourselves in a nice healthy spot. So overall, really good job. All right, really impressed. Especially with your lower body. All right, you're using your legs, you're getting yourself out there. And the most important part of pitching is, or really of velocity is in that lower body. All right, so you're doing a good job at, at using all that and not cutting yourself off. That I see a lot. All right. So first off, I mean, really, all in all is really solid. All right. The biggest thing that I would have you work on is all the movement that happens with your hands. All right. Um, Mechanics in pitching are all about being able to repeat our delivery, being able to, get consistent, and where that starts is over the rubber. We want to break our hands at the exact same point. We want to start our body forward at the same point. And when there's all this movement up and down with your hands, it just kind of takes away the timing. It's just hard to time. Another thing you're gonna get into is later on in baseball career, guys are going to be able to pick up on that ball. You're showing them the ball right here before that hand's coming down. All right, so we got to eliminate all of this stuff to help with our consistency, because we need to recreate that arm path. We need the exact same arm path, exact same everything else. So keep your hands in your glove. And I suggest trying to get to a point where it's staying somewhere around your belly button, around your belt. All right, guys think, the more you move your hands up and the more you move them down is going to relate to hand speed, is going to relate to velocity, and it really has nothing to do with anything. It's more so of, it hampers you more so because of the timing issue. Just watch baseball on TV. Watch where those guys are, what their hands are doing, and you're going to see a lot of limited movement. You're going to see guys with big motions too. They're there, but it makes it so much harder, especially at a young age, to get consistent with it. All right, so that's just something to pay attention to. But your upper body, you're good. You got a little bit of lean back. That's fine. All right, you're staying over that back hip. Usually, we like to see that ear, around that back hip area. Sometimes guys will just get too much, and have it over your knee, but everything's good there. All right, the one thing I want to go back and look at is right here. All right, we don't want that glove turned up like that. We want nothing to do with our wrist. Our wrist isn't doing anything. It's just, lax. It's there for the ride. We're using our elbows. All right, the more we're reaching up underneath, the easier it is for that glove to pop open. All right, you do keep a good job at keeping everything closed, but it just leads to that point of just inconsistencies, and it's just not the right spot where we want to be. We usually don't like to see these elbows locked down. All right, so when you're doing that with your glove up, you're going to have to lock that elbow out. But if you keep that wrist more neutral, you can use that elbow and keep that elbow up here and keep that angle, so then at this spot it's not so hard to get up to that angle. So that's just something to pay attention to. But you are getting that glove out there. It's over your front foot. I like it. It's just getting to that point, so then you don't have that tendency to kind of curl that glove in. You see that glove, if we take the farthest point on that glove, then as you watch through release, there's just a little bit of movement there. All right, I'm not saying you got to get it exactly out over your front foot, but wherever that glove gets out there, it should kind of, just limit the movement of pulling it back to your chest. But I mean, again, that's just something that will help you out. It's not a huge issue. You're in a good spot. It's just a matter of, at this position, this is your foot strike. All right. Really solid torque. All right, really good here. The torque is the hip-shoulder separation. Your back hips turn almost completely towards that catcher, and this upper body hasn't turned yet. But what you do see is you see that front side turned. All right, at this spot, we want to try to match up that front that left arm with that back arm, so you're going to see it more out in this position instead of starting to rotate that. Or so you're just pulling that front side a little bit early, and if you can keep that elbow and shoulder closed a little longer, that's going to help you with velocity, and it's going to help you just kind of, you know, get out farther out front through your release. It's just a little better position. But arm health wise, you know, this is a good spot. We don't like to see elbow up adducted above the shoulder or below. All right, so it's a nice solid spot. You're generating a lot of power. And another thing I like to see is your back foot still on the ground. All right. One thing with keeping that front side closed a little longer is you're going to start to see yourself be able to get out a little bit farther out over that front foot. You know, you're just releasing that ball, you know, basically a little bit out in front of that foot, but you can pick up another couple inches, you know, just by staying through your legs a little longer and keeping that front side closed. All right, but I mean, other than that, it's just the ability to create angles with your pitch. You know, you want to get on top of that ball, you want to drive the ball downhill, and it's really a matter of how close can we release the ball. You know, would you rather, you know, release 80 miles an hour from back here or 80 miles an hour back here? You know, it's just we want to try to help ourselves out as much as we can to get ourselves, you know, releasing the ball closer, releasing the ball with more angle, releasing the ball with more velocity, more power. And that's just a matter of syncing everything up, keeping that front side closed a little bit longer, and just limiting, you know, your upper body motion. You know, all the work's being done from your belly button down. That upper body's just there to keep yourself, you know, balanced, to kind of work with timing. So the more we can limit that hand movement, all right, the better, more consistent you're going to be. All right, it doesn't matter if we're throwing 90 and we throw 2 balls on every 20 pitches. You know, we got to make sure we're throwing strikes and we're getting ourselves consistent. And that's really the only thing that I can recommend for you is to help yourself get consistent, to limit that upper body movement. All right, your lower half's doing great. All right, you're leading with your hips, you're driving those legs out there. All right, you got a nice solid you know, base to work with. It's just a matter of just, you know, just syncing up yourself a little bit more where that front side's not leaking so much. But I mean, other than that, it's solid. So good work, man. You know, you have a great season this year. You know, I wish you luck with your games and practices, and I appreciate you coming out to our camp. Hope you had a great time and learned a lot, and we look forward to seeing you again with ABC in the future.